Today I have got a book for you. It's called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm 100% sure that you would have heard about it, read it also, many of you. Book is written by Stephen Covey. It is the iconic book. It is something which is considered to be class apart when we talk about personality development. This book was first published in 1989, and I have got this 25th anniversary edition into 4 parts, and each part has got certain sub chapters, and it's dotted with the gems. So you can start with any of the parts and you can go through, you can pick up, right? So part 1 is all about paradigms and principles, and it has got inside out the 7 habits and overview. So in the part 1 he gives an overview of the entire 7 habits, how they are placed in your life. Part 2 talks about private victory, so the victory which is very personal to you. So how do you encash that victory? Private victory, which comes under part 2, has 3 habits in it. So one habit is proactive, being proactive. Proactiveness is something which will take you to the distance, right? So you have to be proactive. The second habit is begin with the end in the mind. Means where you want to reach, that particular thing has to be visualized even before you start the journey. So this is very important. The third habit he talks about is put first thing first. So you'll have to prioritize your entire activities. So unless you start prioritizing, you will be all over the place. So that is something that we should avoid, and we should ensure that we do put first things first. Now the third part talks about the public victory. So the victory, the kind of achievements that we do which is in the public glare. So this revolves around the paradigms of interdependence, because we have to work on interdependence. Nobody is an island. Which is public victory, you have got 3 habits again. Now habit number 4 is think win-win. So that is the kind of mental setup. You will have to always think win-win. You just can't compromise on your thought process, because what we think we are, things are things. So if you are thinking about winning, you are 100% going to win, right, despite of all the adversities. Now the habit 5 talks about seek first to understand, then to be understood. So first you understand what the other person is telling, then you try to impose how you want to be understood. So this is also a very wonderful habit that one can think about inculcating himself when he is a journey to success. Now in this habit, he also talks about principles of empathetic communication. Now, empathy, I am 100% sure, empathy you would be knowing about it. Like you'll have to put your leg, your foot into the shoes of someone else and understand their pain and their mode of doing things. So that is empathy. So until unless you are empathetic in your communication, you won't be able to provide justice to your interdependence or the shared success which we all are striving, right? Because you can't succeed in isolation. That is very important. So interdependence is the key of the game, right? The habit number 6 is synergize. Now this revolves around the principles of creative cooperation. So how creatively you are engaging with others, this particular habit talks about. Now the part 4 is renewal. So you would have seen the part 2 is the private, the inside you, right? And the part 3 is public victory, what is outside you. So 2 periphery, 2 circles Mr. Covey has talked about. Now the third part is the renewal. How do you renew yourself? How do you keep reinventing yourself in the changing dynamics of the world? So part 4 has got just a second. Part 4 has got the final habit, which is habit number 7, and this habit 7 talks about sharpen the saw. Now it talks about the principles of balanced self-renewal, inside out again. So you'll have to peep inside your mind, inside your psyche, inside yourself to understand where you are in the current dynamics, and accordingly you'll have to reinvent. Sharpening the saw is nothing but you upskill yourself all the time, because things are changing rapidly. It's a fast-paced world we are living in. Where do you stand in this fast-paced world? This is something which is very critical. So sharpen the saw is something which is not just about the 7 habits, it's about the way of life. So how do you live your life, right? So every habit, every section of habit has got its own stories, own anecdotes, which are just fantabulous. So you must read it to understand where we are in terms of the world, in terms of the where we want to achieve. So if you want to have your goal to be achieved, goals are nothing like a north star, right? It's a guiding principle, so that makes you move, right? So if you want to move towards your goal, keep it handy, the 7 habits of highly effective people. So what is living? Are they effective? So effectiveness is something which will take you to great distance, which will make you successful. Go ahead, read this book. This is fantastic.